I know you've been selling for a while. What is your revenue going to look like this year, just to give some people some idea?
So last year we did 10 million in revenue.
So are we thinking like into the 10 million, probably a little bit, maybe inching above that this year, probably?
Yeah, I'd say we should do like 12 million ideally, like this is across 3 seller accounts too. So we took a lot of risks, but long story short, we're at the point now we're partnered with over 30 brands. We sell everything from sporting goods to grocery products, random hair stuff. So we do have a niche with our background, but overall we saw there's so many brands that just need help on Amazon. So if I can come to them with a genuine pitch, trying to help out and add value, we'll work with anybody.
E-commerce is the greatest business opportunity of our generation.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Ecom Unlimited podcast. It's your boy Kaj here with my co-host Josh.
What's going on, everybody?
We are multi-7-figure e-commerce sellers that have been in the game for 8 years. Before we get into the guest for today's episode, who I'm very excited to talk with, quick shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, that is SellerSnap. Guys, you hear us talk about SellerSnap all the time, and that is because, simply put, it just works. You stay in the buy box longer, you avoid price tanking, increases your profits, and it pays for itself extremely quickly because of those things. So if you want to get a free trial of SellerSnap, click the link in the bio or use code Robinson to get 10% off your first 3 months, I believe. All right, and with that, let's have a conversation today with our boy Jonah Hodges. Jonah, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on once again.
Yes, I think this is number 3 that we're having you on.
Yeah, I think 3. I came on solo, and then we had Itai on with me, and this is number 3, yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, just for anyone who hasn't listened to either one of those episodes, maybe if they're a newer listener, just give us like the quick 90-second, 2-minute backstory of how you got into e-commerce and selling on Amazon.
Yeah, so my journey with e-commerce is different than a lot of people. I've been reselling on eBay and Amazon since like 2010. So back in high school, same Amazon account I have today started as my mom's account. So I was underage, she had it. I was just buying and reselling like old textbooks and basically anything I could get my hands on at this point. So I didn't even know what it was at this point back then. It was just buying and reselling. Looking back, though, I was doing arbitrage. So I would go on Craigslist. I'd go to all the junior colleges, find the textbooks, resell them. But Amazon, like for a lot of us, me was just a side hustle. And it was one of those things, if I could find something to sell, that was great. If I didn't, it would sell through and I'd have nothing. After a while, I knew, I wanted a replenishable business. I was selling on and off on the platform for a long time. But for me to be able to consistently have products I was going to resell, I needed to do wholesale and distribution. And it was perfect because I kind of stumbled into it as well. I was working for one brand as a sales rep. So my good buddy Jake, who you guys know, he started his own distribution company, but it all started working with one bicycle brand. And we were like sales reps. We would call up, stores, try to sell them product. And I was still doing my Amazon reselling thing on the side. If I could buy and resell, it was great. Funny enough, with this brand, there was getting returns from stores. So stores would return the products. And this is one point I would say for any Amazon seller is you have to have some sort of creative advantage as you get into brand partnerships and doing wholesale. If you want to stand out, you have to be able to add value some way. And I didn't even know this was value at the time, but they had all these used products. And I was like, hey, can I sell these on Amazon? Just used like new. I'd sell it a little bit cheaper than the new ones. And when it sold, I would do FBM. So I did that for a while as well. And naturally, it was like great timing too, because COVID comes, everybody stops buying, brick and mortar stores stop selling. And me with the Amazon, that's like my only source of income at this point too. So I'm slowly wanting to scale that up. And I tell the brand, and at this point we started being sales reps for multiple brands too, which turned in eventually to a distribution company. So with this distribution company, I said, hey guys, we're selling a little bit on Amazon. I know if we're able to sell more of our brands there, like we're going to generate some serious income. All these stores are stopping. E-commerce is blowing up during COVID. And so I say all this because for me, it was a genuine relationship that I had and that I kind of built over time to get to this point. And that's what wholesale is, really. It's all relationship based. We're all identifying the same brands, the same distributors. What's going to separate yourself when you get to contacting them? And for me, I was building this relationship, and over time it turned into, hey, I just want to partner with more and more brands. We're going to buy and stock their products, and we want to handle Amazon for them as well. But we, like many sellers, just kept running into, we'll sell you stuff, but you can't sell it on Amazon. We'll sell you stuff, can't sell it on Amazon. No Amazon. Sorry, we have our guys there. And there's plenty of brands and distributors out there that will sell to you from day one. Like if you contact a supplier and say, hey, my name is Jonah with XYZ company, I'm looking to buy this many units, a lot of brands and suppliers will sell to you because we're doing wholesale, right? And for me at this point, it's just there's nobody who's willing to do that. So if we got to this point by doing a lot of the dirty work that people didn't want to do. So we made tons of phone calls. We did tons of in-person trade shows and events. And we just took risks with buying product that some people wouldn't do. We took brand deal risks. I'd buy stuff that wasn't necessarily that profitable in hopes to finally have that exclusivity. So we took a lot of risks, but long story short, we're at the point now we're partnered with over 30 brands. We sell everything from sporting goods to grocery products, random hair stuff. So we do have a niche with our background, but overall we saw there's so many brands that just need help on Amazon. So if I can come to them with a genuine pitch, trying to help and add value, we'll work with anybody. So that's where we're at now, and lucky to run across guys like you guys and meet people in the industry, get to do super cool stuff all the time, like podcasts and trade shows and industry events. So long story short, just glad to be here. And, we're not the only ones doing it. Guys like Cajua and Josh are crushing. Guys inside the wholesale network are crushing. So I'm very bullish on our specific space.
Extremely bullish. Well said.
Yeah, I love that. Now, I know you've been selling for a while. What is your revenue going to look like this year, just to give some people some idea?
So last year we did 10 million in revenue. It's for us, honestly, a big part is capital and financing. So with wholesale and Amazon in general, it's at different scales and different points of the business, but running into that capital issue eventually happens. It's either you don't have enough to buy or you don't have enough money to spend. We have a lot of good opportunities now. I need to figure out more on the finance side.
Gotcha. So are we thinking like into the 10 million, probably a little bit, maybe inching above that this year, probably?
Yeah, I'd say we should do like 12 million, ideally, like this is across 3 seller accounts too. So full transparency there. I have one main business where how my business is structured now, I look at myself as a partner. So every seller account I have, I either own or I operate. So I'm partnered also with a brick and mortar retail store. So I manage their account. I know you guys do some similar stuff there too. But it's split across my own account, a retail store account I have, and then I had just a general arbitrage wholesaling reselling account. That's the one that ultimately got deactivated in 2023.
Gotcha. I wanted to touch base on how to create a relationship. And I kind of want to start with, when you just start out versus how you're contacting brands now, where we've already, are selling 10 million a month or 10 million a year and have, 30 plus brands. What does it look like in the beginning, and what kind of software are you using?
Yeah, so good question. Completely different approach. Depends where you're at in your business and also the brand you're contacting. So are you contacting somebody that's already doing hundreds of thousands of dollars per month in revenue? It's going to be a different approach, different barrier of entry than the brand that maybe they have one or two products on Amazon and it's doing $5,000 a month. So if you keep getting declined by bigger guys, I think people need to lower the expectations. So I know a lot of people, and you mentioned what software, so Smart Scout's one of our main software for sourcing and brand analyzing. What I love is it shows the revenue numbers, it shows the number of sellers, it shows their brand score, which basically just evaluates the brand. Go for those lower end brands. Like when you're starting out, go for something with a low brand score, maybe lower revenue side. Yes, you still can approach them wanting to buy and sell their inventory, but eventually, in my opinion, you should bring up e-commerce, Amazon, ask them what their strategy is there. And ideally, you have some key points you can hit on how you're going to grow their business there. Because it is hard to say no to someone that's just, number one, spending money with you, and number two, wanting to spend more. So if you're a beginner Amazon seller and you're contacting these people, you need to make sure they know that you're not overhead, so you don't charge them anything for these services, and you want to continuously buy more from them. So it's like, I can spend $5,000 now, but if I'm able to create some new listings for you guys, maybe fix up the existings, that 5 could be 10 next time. So I show them the vision. Like, even if you're a beginner seller, you should show the vision of where you want to go and like what a real success story looks like on Amazon for their brand, and then just help them get there.
Gotcha. Now, does that usually happen all in one call, or does it take a continuous process over a longer period of time to get that vision in their head?
Right. So this should not be talked about on the first call, like listing optimization, or the first email, let's say. Listing optimization, advertising, they're unauthorized sellers. I start out just like, I want to get a response from a human. Sometimes you just spew out that first email. Who knows if anyone even read it? So opening up just dialogue, like I said, then you can try to place orders with them. If they ask about Amazon and e-commerce, I think you should always bring it up. Like, I've done the route like many sellers do, where you're behind the scenes sellings, it just never lasts. So, and if you do get an account that way, eventually I still would bring up e-commerce and how you're trying to add value there. Because at the end of the day, when they say no to you, if you know that you could add value and help them grow, it's a no-brainer for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that. And I think it goes to show, like, this kind of stuff takes time. And even though, we can get in a conversation where it's like, oh no, they brought up, Amazon. I'm like a really big Amazon seller. Well, there's other avenues now with Walmart kind of opening their doors, and even eBay. Me and Kaj have done some eBay stuff with brands too that have generated them revenue ultimately, because we're buying their products and we're selling them on eBay. So yeah, I really like that answer.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
let me chime in real quick too, because I want to stay on that same topic. So, Josh kind of brought up like, okay, how long does it take to get them to understand the vision? I think part of that vision often is solving pain points. And this is something, we talk about all the time inside the whole wholesale network. What are some common pain points that you found from the 30 brands that you work with and all the outreach that you've done that brands normally perceive as being their highest pain point? Because one thing I've noticed is that oftentimes, especially new Amazon sellers, what they think that the brand is going to care about is often not what the brand actually cares about. So in your experience, what have you normally found are like those top 1 to 3 pain points that brands care about?
Yeah. So to touch on your point too, like listing optimization you talk about, so many brands don't care about that, right? Like if you're contacting them about fixing up their listings and you haven't even talked to them at all or know what their pain point is, you're just shooting arrows, like hoping that one of these hot keywords you says is something they're interested in. That's not normally the case. I've seen unauthorized sellers and just no control on the platform is normally one of the biggest pain points. And that's part of the game too, right? Like there's strategies we do to help unauthorized sellers, like monitoring, But part of it is just, like I said, that vision. If the vision and the goal one day is to not have any unauthorized sellers, we need to do some steps and actions to get there. So number one, these are all the sellers. Do you know these guys? This is their address. This is their merchant token. This is their name. Oh, you don't know them. You don't know any of them. Okay. Who do you sell to? Who are your distributors? Because your distributors sell to one of these guys. So it's like a process of trying to assist them in cleaning that up. And that's not always going to get sellers off. But like I said, it's part of a process of even just assisting them with getting these guys off, because some people will fall off. Like if you have an email from the brand directly to a seller, which you can help them do too, because we can pull all their email addresses and all that, right? So this is one strategy. And so pain points of brands, that's normally the biggest one, but it's unauthorized sellers, but it goes into no control. And no control to me means no partner there to control it. So like it all goes back to you guys need somebody doing this stuff for you. But the pain point is usually too many sellers. They didn't authorize those sellers. They have no control over the platform. So something along those lines. And then I craft it in a way where I can help.
And then follow up on that. How do you explain to the brands the advantages of having a partner versus a bunch of unauthorized resellers? I think the obvious one is normally going to be if price is tanking. But other than MAP, let's just say the situation is they have 30 resellers, but everyone's holding MAP. Mm-hmm. What's the pitch to that brand on why they should have a partner versus 30 sellers?
So that's a good question. This goes for when you're trying to just land a brand, but also I've seen a lot of people will get a brand direct account, and then there's 10 people with that same brand direct account. So then it's like, okay, that's great, congrats. But next you have to upgrade yourself even more. So how do you become their partner more than just having the account? And so when there's 10 guys, I can't do a lot of the things I need to do within brand registry. So brand registry is a program that every brand on Amazon should be in. I don't know the percentage of it, but so many are not in that program. It's free for them to get in it, and you get access to so much more data. So like you can see where customers, you can see customer analytics, like the demographic. You can see more insights that Amazon seller account won't give you until you're brand registered and linked to their brand registry. So I always ask about it because number one, some brands don't have one, or they just don't, somebody created it for them and they have no idea about it. So, if I'm talking to a brand and they have multiple sellers and I kind of want to continue positioning myself as more, it's like, that's great. You have these partners, but I know I could add more value if I create, this bundle listing and bring in these products. I can't do that unless I'm brand registered. I can't advertise if there's 30 of us competing. So like, how am I going to be able to advertise and grow your brand? There's 20 different people.
Yep. Well said. And I'm literally in the middle of dealing with that conversation with one brand right now that we've been working with for a bit. We've been helping them, like you said, fill out a spreadsheet with all of the sellers. And it's like, okay, we don't know who these guys are. And the brand's like, so how do I contact them? Do I just message them on Amazon? I'm like, no, that's probably not the best way. So like we used seamless.ai and just some internet research to find people's emails, get that on there for them so they can contact. And then it's a very slow process, but it's like, that's the kind of grunt work that you have to do. That's not like the fun, sexy stuff, but is what builds that relationship to the point where they're like, we're probably the only Amazon seller out of their, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 sellers that they're communicating with on any sort of regular basis.
For sure. Like, well, I would add to that. It's like an Amazon seller. The only way I use that term is like social media to find my niche, and people are like at these conferences, when you're talking to brands, you don't want to just be like an Amazon seller, because 100%. That right there, it's like everyone is an Amazon seller. We all fall into this space because we want to sell on Amazon. But brands don't have a good connotation with Amazon. Like, they're not going to link you as somebody who's, they get hit up by you all the time. So it's like, we talk about it. You have to add more value. You have to be a partner. And part of that is sometimes pointing out all the bad stuff that's going on Amazon. So it's like, I'll point out the bad stuff. I'll point out the bad actors. Some brands will continuously say no to me too, but some brands will say, okay, well, this guy is kind of different. Like, you just gave us a list of these sellers selling our stuff, prices everywhere. He put together a very, genuine report showing how he thinks he can add value. And he has, $3,000 for an order. Sure, we'll authorize him and see how he does.
Yep.
So I've seen that happen a lot of times.
What do you, with the connotation of being an Amazon seller for someone who's maybe new and looking to get into it, what makes being a quote unquote Amazon seller so unattractive to potentially a business?
I think it's just because of the background of third party selling on Amazon, like the nature of the business. It started as book resellers, just like Amazon. Like, Amazon started as a bookstore. A lot of the third party sellers, some of the largest ones, it started as book resellers. And it got restrictive, right? So then everyone switched to just arbitrage and reselling stuff. I think nobody really thought about going to brands directly because they think brands do it themselves, maybe. They think the brand has it dialed already. Why would they not just do Amazon? Amazon for us is everything, right? Like, we're in a very small niche. Amazon's our entire business. But if you're a brand, that could be like one small thought of yours that you look at one day a week. We do Amazon one day. Like, that's not going to cut it if you're trying to be a top brand on Amazon. You need somebody who's legitimately, like, actively fixing up your listings, doing advertising. And even if you don't advertise, because a lot of people, there's thin margin or your brand doesn't give you an advertising budget, just keeping product in stock. There's so many brands that have their products not FBA. They don't have an FBA seller, or it's in and out of stock. So, because it's kind of confusing too. It's like, how much stock do I have? Oh, now I have too many fees. Now there's less fees. Something got blocked. I have to return it. Like, when a brand goes through that, they eventually are like, you know what? We just don't want to deal with it. It's a headache.
We literally have one brand that we've been working with. It's kind of the exact same thing. I think he asked me on 3 different occasions. He's like, but how many units do I need to send in for an FBA shipment? Is it like a pallet? I'm like, bro, you could send in 1 if you wanted to. I told him the same thing multiple times. And it's just like, they just don't have an understanding of it because they don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I was like, even better, I'll buy 10 or 100 from you, and then I'll send it in. How about that?
Yeah. Wait, you're going to do it for me?
Exactly.
And I don't have to pay you. So it is all like positioning, because even if a brand does it themselves and they do FBA, like the 3PL bill can get up there too. Mm-hmm. So if you're a brand who now you're paying an agency to manage it, you pay the 3PL fee, you don't get paid up front because you have to deal with the Amazon cash flow cycle. Like, there actually is a lot of negatives to doing Amazon. Our goal is to just be like the experts at it. We figure it out. You sell it to us, you get paid. We'll do everything from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, kind of like circling back to finding brands again. Now that you've done this for 5 years, how are you finding brands today? Instead of, looking for like the really maybe smaller brands and really looking to start to contact a lot of them, how are you shifting that focus?
Yeah. So what I would say too, like for beginner sellers, this is any business really, everything compounds. So you're not going to love to hear that at first if you don't have a supplier, you've never placed a purchase order. But reality is, like with this business especially, and many, over time, like good word compounds, your name gets out there. One brand you work with will refer you to another, or your distributor will refer you to a brand. So for me now, I've just built up a network of brands, distributors, and retailers who know what I do, because it's clear that I'm an e-commerce guy. I want to help grow your brand. So I get a lot of inbound, which is a good thing. I still use Smart Scout every single day. We're looking at brands. Sometimes it's not to pull a list. Sometimes I'm just analyzing brands that I stumble across. Google, Amazon, like just directly on Amazon, if I'm looking through, I find a lot of leads just because you have a trained eye after a while. Like you know what a good listing versus bad listing looks like. I might not have found it on Smart Scout. I just found it doing manual research, but I always do my due diligence with these tools after.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
And trade shows, in-person stuff for me is high leverage. I think I'm landing good relationships and accounts there. And over time, if I want to work with like the biggest of big brands, more in-person stuff and things like that. So ideally, more trade shows.
Yeah, I think trade shows are definitely slept on in the Amazon community a little bit. And I know I'm excited every time Kaj goes to one and I can't go. I'm always excited to hear all the stories that he has and the people he meets and the companies that he has conversations with, even if they don't turn into anything. I think it's just really good getting that face-to-face interaction because you never know when you're going to get one that, might be in a random, elevator or, could be one of my patients when I'm treating in physical therapy. So it's like, It's funny. Actually, I just met today. I was treating someone who was basically like buys vintage furniture and like basically repaints it. And literally her two markets are New York and California. Those are like her two markets that she basically sells to. She does that full time. So that was kind of cool.
Wow.
So we kind of talked about, helping brands get their products into Amazon, helping them with listing optimization, going through some advertising. Are you expanding any of your services that you're offering to brands?
Yeah, so that's a good point. I think it's just part of being a wholesaler and brand partner. If you want to last and be if you want to be indispensable, you need to be able to offer various services. So Walmart obviously is one where it's still new, but I talk about it with a lot of brands. So brands that I'm currently partnered with, right now we're actively getting letters of authorization to be on Walmart too. So they have a brand registry portal sort of deal on Walmart. Expanding there, it's not necessarily lucrative. I'm not making a lot of money. I'm probably wasting money. But I look at it as investing. So I'm investing into a virtual assistant who knows the platform and can help me manage it, and brand relations that maybe one day they'll grow there. Right now, small sales here and there. So expanding to Walmart and then handling more of their direct-to-consumer and Shopify is something that we're doing. So we have a in-house prep center that we've built over time. We do all our FBA shipments here. We do a couple client FBA shipments too. Now we're doing 3PL services for brands, and it's not the biggest brands, but if you have a Shopify site and you're making sales there and it's going well, and you're currently like all this stuff we're talking about, they pay the 3PL too much money for doing what they're doing. They have actually for this person, they weren't doing anything regarding like advertising, optimizing the listing. Wow. On their Shopify page, and they still did like $75,000 in revenue in the last year. So we're just going to take it over and start to build that out as another service. So let's say you're contacting brands and you're able to do the FBA fulfillment and you buy and stock their inventory. It's just that much more value if I can buy and stock their inventory and help them fulfill direct to consumer as well.
Yeah, talk about building a relationship. If you do that, why the heck would they ever want someone just to buy their product to sell on Amazon? That's almost like a no-brainer once you put it that way.
That's the goal. So there's one brand we started just Amazon exclusive. This is the one I'm talking about. They did like $75,000 in revenue, but their shipping fees were really high. So like their direct-to-consumer shipping fees were high. We figured out we could kind of optimize pricing and potentially drive more sales to their website. And I tell them straight up, it's like, I don't have a lot of experience with Shopify and driving sales there, but right now you guys aren't doing anything.
Right.
And you're paying this huge 3PL bill. So I can wipe the 3PL bill away I'll buy and sell the inventory just like we're doing on Amazon. And he's like, oh, actually, yeah, I like that idea. You can be like a master distributor for us. So just quick hack here too. This is like a tip for you guys and your audience is there's a lot of brands that need help with US distribution. So that includes Amazon. So there's so many brands now. Like we landed a brand, they're from Europe, who it's with the UK, or in the UK, they have sales tax. It's really hard for them to get product in and distribute and do it themselves. They'd rather just do wholesale and sell to one person. So we started kind of looking at more and more brands like, can I be their US just distributor? I'll do your Shopify, I'll do your Amazon, because we have capabilities of doing so.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's very unique. I've never really heard of that before.
Yes, I'm assuming you're using your warehouse or Jake's warehouses as the warehouse hub for bringing that stuff
exactly.
in.
How we did it now, it's like when we started with this distributor, Jake's distributor, there was no warehouse. There was nothing like that. So they were distributing product out of their house. We just started blowing up quickly and got one warehouse. And then with my business, I was just doing so much volume with them. It was like, I need something literally right next door. So we have a cool setup where it's like we have 3 warehouses back to back to back.
Oh, that's so sick.
Each other. And this is how we got our first brand too. So it was like the first brand we ever partnered with. She was spending ungodly amounts on shipping. So she had to ship her product somewhere else. She was right around the corner. So it was like, if I can be your guy and we buy from you, there's no shipping costs. Just roll it over to us and then we'll do the FBA shipments. So like, that's my little barrier right there, right? Like that's how I have my advantage over somebody else who contacts the brand and says, hey, I want to do your Amazon stuff. So just local connections, personal connections, like any type of connection you can make that gives you that barrier of entry too, is what like makes it so that you're not going to get cut.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's super interesting about the distribution thing. I don't think we've had any brand that we've talked to that are in that position quite yet, but I definitely can see that being like another way to expand too. I mean, for us, so we don't have our own warehouse, but like the warehouse, the 3PL we use, like we work with them a lot. And then obviously, we know tons of other people who have warehouses.
Like the 3PL still works. You could do the same model with the 3PL.
Yeah, super, super interesting.
Cool. Yeah. Now, what does it look like a day-to-day? Me and Kaj, we're like, we're the $1 million, $1.2 million seller. Our daily tasks are going to look a little bit different than yours. What does your day look like and what kind of fires do you have to put out?
Yeah, good question. I mean, at my level right now, I would say some of the fires, it all comes back to me as a person, right? Like with business, if I'm going to do more things, this is in my experience, I've seen this with every entrepreneur. If you want to achieve more, you have to be able to manage more stress. You have to be able to go through those problems. So like stress for me, there are stressful situations like 2023, we're doing $1 million a month, account gets deactivated. Like the level of stress I was under was high and I was able to get through it, so like, okay, bounce back, you're fine. But I say all that to tell you guys, like a lot of my day, I'm just like focusing on my mental health. I pray, I exercise, like I spend a decent amount of time doing those things. And like my deep, hard work, you hear it like all the time, work periods. Like I'll work for like 3 to 4 hours where I'm not talking to anybody, not really on my phone unless I need the 2 auth code and stuff like that. But I work like 4 hours a day of deep work, and everything else, it's either like I'm with my family, I'm exercising, or I'm just like monitoring my team. So a lot of checkup. Like I have a virtual assistant team that I work with. I have my warehouse I contact and connect with. I have my brands. So it's just like managing all day. But when you're managing all day, like you guys know, it's like I'm on my phone a lot. Like I do like a 3-4 hour work period on my computer when I'm just dialed. But for the rest of the day, I'm like stuck on my phone, which like sucks because just how I am, it's like I get super into things. So I have to be able to like say, okay, I'm going to put this away. And for the next 3 hours, like, and it's on my Google Calendar too. It's like, this is family time. So like from 5 to 8 p.m., like you normally won't see me responding. I'm not going to be that active. That's when I'm doing family stuff. From like 7 a.m. to 9:30, I do family stuff. I'm not really working. I'm not on my phone at all. And then 9:30 to 1 is that deep period. And then 1 to 5, I'm just texting all day, basically.
That's a good structure, though.
Monitoring.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like if you, so I use Slack a lot, right? But it's like you have like Slack, Discord, WhatsApp, and Gmail. And if I didn't structure my time, I would just spend 15 hours a day on those 4 apps because messages are just always coming in.
It doesn't stop either. Like that's what
nonstop.
Depends how you are as a person, but like I see a notification and I want to clear it.
Yes.
Which it's like good because I'm on it and active, but the more things you do and the more people you're talking with, like you just physically can't. So I'm at the point too. I have 2 assistants that I work very, very close with. They help me manage my inbox too. So like I use Spark. It's a email management platform. So if you have multiple email accounts, it all connects into one. I'm a big fan of Spark. I pay for it, but they also have a free version. I used the free one for so long. But in Spark, you can assign emails to an assistant. They can have access to your email inbox. It connects multiple inboxes. And so I'm trying to build out structures where it's like everything important comes to Slack, WhatsApp, or Spark. And it's either I'm responding or one of my 2 assistants is responding.
That's fire. And I do want to transition and talk about the wholesale network, but quickly, just out of curiosity, how big is your team now? So not including like warehouse and distribution, but just for Amazon, like you, and then I'm assuming a team of VAs, maybe another US based person. How big is the Amazon specific team?
So I want a US person eventually to manage the team. I don't have that. I think that would be a really good person to also be a brand account manager. So you guys know like the brand relations, that's going to be your highest leverage stuff. And I don't always want to do those calls. So eventually having an American body who can do that and communicate with the VA team and just get the reports from them. You know, what's the update on this brand before I hop on the call? I want that position. I don't have it yet. So that is me. I'm still operating. I'm still texting. I have my head of operations who I've been with since 2019. He's been solid guy, legit team. He's helped me build out too, but they were all private label background. So I say that because like my team and experience comes with private label background. At the time, I had no idea that that was going to be useful, but with what I'm doing now with the brand relations and stuff and creating listings and advertising and everything like that, they've been very helpful with. So I do all the brand relationships. On that team who's managing our brands, we probably have about 12 bodies, I'd say. It's definitely growing right now because what we're doing is helping brands with more services and helping online retailers with more services. So I've just been able to curate a really solid group of guys. They have their own agency that they built out as well. So as we start working with more sellers and they also want a virtual assistant, we're going to have our team help them. So team of 12, that'll probably go to like 15 soon just for more support. And then on the warehouse, we have like 5 people that prep and pack.
That's a solid amount of people.
That's a solid team.
Yeah, it's good, solid amount, mainly contracted too. You know, like the warehouses we have on payroll, but the team of virtual assistants is mainly just contracted monthly work.
Yeah. Send the payment on Wise, super easy.
Yeah.
Solid.
Love that.
All right, let's pivot to what you're seeing right now within the wholesale network, right? So everyone who's listening to this podcast, if you've been listening for any amount of time, you've heard us talk about the wholesale network before. Obviously, we've had Jonah on 3 times, we had Corey on 3 times, and together for the last 2 years, we've pretty much been building up that community, adding in resources. It's a place where we're showing people and kind of walking with people step by step how to get, that first PO with the distributor, how to get that first relationship with the brand, how to optimize the listing. Jonah, what have you been seeing from people in the community? Maybe just like some recent wins or even issues that people have been facing that you've been helping them overcome.
Yeah, I think the Amazon space in general, not just our community, is going through like a refresh phase. So a lot of people joined the space just naturally in the last couple of years. A ton of people joined, but not a ton of people joined and started operating like we do, who are doing wholesale with legitimate relationships, who are contacting brands and actually adding value. So a lot of reselling and wholesale and buy and flip has been successful from 2020 to 2023 from what I saw. And then from 2023 on, it got really hard. So some sellers, they want to do brand direct, but they realize it's a completely different skill set, So if you want to do Amazon and sit behind your computer and find good deals and buy and sell stuff and never speak to anyone, you can do that. But your ceiling is only going to be so high. And I think a lot of us who want to build legitimate businesses, be here for a long time, know too that yes, Amazon is like a video game. We all get that feeling sometimes, but it's not too. You got to be a grown man. You have to be an adult. If you want to work with a wholesale supplier, you can't be afraid to call them. So the guys in our community who are willing to put themselves out there, to pick up the phone, to have in-person trade shows, to go to their local distributor and open an account, those are the guys who are getting wins, and they will continue to get wins. The ones who kind of still want to just send emails only, they are not getting wins. So in terms of if you guys are watching this and you want to do Amazon wholesale, if you're only open to sitting behind the screen, sending emails and that's it, I would just personally wouldn't do it. At this point, you're going to waste a lot of time. Wholesale is something where it's a big upfront investment, not necessarily money, but your time. You have to spend all this time hearing no's. For the guys who do want to just last long term, they know this is the only way to last long term. So I think they're committed to doing so. Those are the guys getting wins.
Yeah, and it can take a while. I know there's one guy in the community. I think he's been doing outreach for maybe 3 or 4 months, just kind of hitting roadblocks, helping tweak his pitch. Also kind of tweak the filters he was using in terms of the kind of brands he was reaching out to. But it was very consistent weekly outreach for probably 3 or 4 months before he got his first account. And some people, they get it faster. It's all right, maybe they also have more time. This guy also had a full-time job, so he only had so much time he could call during business hours. So some people, it's all right, they get multiple accounts open week 1, week 2. But then some people, it's they're consistent. It might take months, and then either you're going to give up or you're going to push through and then get those accounts open. And so, he did that as well. But if those were only emails that he was sending, it probably would have taken 3 times as long to get the first account, and then you're not even building as strong as a relationship.
Yeah, you can do it. You're going to open some accounts, probably mainly distributors, I'd guess, but you're going to open accounts. You're going to be able to place orders. It's just eventually at some point you have to do something that the other sellers won't do. So as long as maybe you did open that account via email and you've been buying and reselling, but Amazon's never came up, think about bringing it up. Maybe think about asking that distributor if they can source more brands or more products from that brand. Because what I've seen too is a lot of distributors might work with a brand, but they don't carry the entire product line. So why not? I think brands want to sell all their stuff. There's just no demand for it. Is that because there's no Amazon listing or the listing's not good? Whatever it is, it's just I'm always trying to increase revenue for these brands, get more product selling, more product lines. So you can't have these conversations through an email. Like if I'm trying to do all this through an email, it would be one of those ones that comes from a virtual assistant and it's like 2 paragraphs long. They just don't work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
I also know for me too, like especially now that we've been in the brand direct space for multiple years, there's an iteration of the kinds of problems that you face, and maybe I'm just spoiled, or maybe I don't know, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I like dealing with the problems that come with being exclusive, and I don't like all of the other problems. Like now it's like, as even like in my X feed, right? Like tons of arbitrage people, brand direct people, probably whatever. But like the OA guys will post like a screenshot of a Keepa graph, and they're like knowing how to read the Keepa. Like you got to. I'm like, I am so grateful that I don't do that anymore. Like when I'm looking at a brand, I don't look at Keepa graphs for historical pricing at all. I'm just like, what can I sell it at if I'm the only person? That's all I care about. And so it's like going back to your thing about like building a relationship with a brand. You can open an account and sell with just an email, but you're not going to get an exclusive with just an email. And so whenever I'm talking to someone, my baseline assumption is always work for the exclusive, because that's where the real money is. And then you're actually able to grow the brand, not just sell the product that's already there and have the buy box rotate.
For sure. Like, and that's just a mindset thing too, right? So like I personally would rather sell a brand for 0% margin on my first order, knowing that I had a great conversation with the brand owner. We're on the same page. He sees the vision. He's going to allow me to create a 2-pack or whatever it is, compared to like the other account where Amazon's not ever talked about and I'm buying and reselling for my 20% margin, but the next order it's 15, and then the next one was 10, and then there's none. It's like you made some money, but then what happened? The brand didn't understand all the negatives of selling to 20 guys, and now it's because you're not the only one who's dealing with that. All of these other sellers are too. Somebody's sitting on a lot of inventory. It takes longer than most people think to sell through that inventory, and this is all the problems when you sell to a bunch of people.
Yep.
Yeah. So what does it look like when someone comes into the wholesale network? Like what does the experience look like, and how does like the wholesale network kind of help all these sellers really level up their game to be able to have the confidence to have these conversations with the brands?
Yeah, so within the wholesale network, the big difference in my opinion is we have active sellers and coaches. So everyone inside, like myself, like Kaj, we're actively working with brands. So you're not getting like a course that is from 2020 or some outdated course. These are always upgraded and interactive trainings that we're doing. Even within our coaching calls. So we have in our network, we have weekly coaching calls. In our mastermind, we also have weekly coaching calls, but it's the hands-on help. So let's say somebody joins the wholesale network. Well, they don't know what to say to a brand. Okay, you have the script. That's great. You can get scripts from anywhere, right? But then what about when you get on the phone and call that brand and you say the script and then it goes off script and they tell you no because something? What we do, it's like, number one, we will analyze your call if it's recorded and you have it to give you coaching tips. Number two, you could just bounce off the community whenever you have questions, because these things, I think everyone thinks it's straightforward, but then you get to some point where you're not sure what to say. That's when relationships are won or lost. It's like when it gets to that no Amazon and well, now what? It's either you move on, which a lot of people, and I used to do so much outreach, like with my virtual assistants and having wanted to contact as many people as possible. And I went back actually to look through my old Gmail. There's so many emails we didn't respond to because they said no Amazon, no e-commerce. And for whatever reason, my team, they just dropped it there. So like that right there, you should go back to all those conversations, figure out how you're going to overcome it or what potential no's they may have. Because at the end of the day, like the support inside the wholesale network is the biggest benefit. Like you're getting coaching, but you're getting support as well. And I have my my course is inside the Wholesale Network as well, which is the Brand Partner Playbook. With my course, you're going to see the brands I sell. You're going to see the exact products and brands I sell. And when it comes to listing optimization or PPC or whatever, like it's just step-by-step guides. So it's one thing to say all the value adds and services, but for our members, they're actually getting trainings and resources that you could just take and hand to your team, and then they could do it for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's such a great answer. I love especially the weekly calls. I know I don't usually show up to the weekly calls, but I always love to hear Cajua and how he's like, oh, I met with, this guy today. He seems like such a cool guy. He's like such an insane level. And you guys have really good people coming in doing sometimes even multi 10 figures a year. People come in, you guys bring in the best of the best usually to these groups. And I think that's what really separates you guys again from the rest of the coaching that's out there as well.
Yeah, you just said it. The people are what make it up, right? So I think the big thing in info and coaching and community spaces, and I hear it too, it's like, oh, I got scammed by this last program, or they signed up and it was the same exact thing as the guy's YouTube. It was like his YouTube, but just inside a Discord. We don't have scammers in our group. And not only that, it's we have active sellers who also post on social media and are also real people. So once you start curating a group of real people, it is hard to deny just results. Kaj has been killing it. Kaj leads a ton of the coaching calls. And for Kaj, it's that right there. He's a person who went from failed private label to reselling with some success, but realized it wasn't going to be a long-term thing. So he is the epitome of trying every single business model and graduating from reseller to brand partnerships. Because we talk about all the time, you only need one brand. Once you have one brand, congrats, you're the brand partner. Even if it's not the most lucrative, profitable thing, you want to build that relationship. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Ultimately, you start with the small fish, and eventually all the stuff you're going to learn, kind of figuring out all the small sellers' problems, you can really then focus in on a big seller, and then the snowball starts really forming there.
Yeah. The other thing that I think is valuable, not even just from the coaches side of things, but the community itself, is we have so many people in there that have been in the game for so long. Because we've been selling, for 8 or 9 years. You've been selling for 10 or 12. Corey's been selling for 8. And then there are other mastermind members who've been selling for. So it's even when I have a question, it's the first place I go. I drop a question. This super niche question that it's only someone who's been selling on Amazon for 15 years is going to have any idea of how to answer this question. So it's that value in itself too is huge, because especially at this scale, it's sometimes you have a question that it's okay, you're going to put that in ChatGPT and it's just going to hallucinate because it's so niche it doesn't actually have access to that on the internet. But the answer to that question can save you $10,000 in your business if you're able to figure it out. So it's even just having that access is so huge.
Yeah, and just bouncing questions off the community, even if you're not the most active, just being a fly on the wall, because you're seeing what these 7-8 figure sellers are answering and also asking questions. It's you're in a forum, but it's not Seller Central forum. This is a very curated. Yeah. And what a lot of people don't get too, with our coaching, somebody said this to me the other day on our voice chat. It's you are getting more coaching in here than one-on-one coaching, because you're getting one-on-one coaching in the voice chat with us. Or if you message me or Kaj, we're the ones responding. You hop on the voice chat, it's us and 2 other people. So it's not you're getting a community course. You also get the hands-on coaching too. So I think we're building something where we'll last for a long term, just not because we have active sellers, but the community as well.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously we just got back from the Chicago Mastermind, which we have a podcast episode about that too. So yeah, it also just makes it more fun as well. Even for me and Josh, there is a very clear moment where it's we got involved in the Amazon community. We entered a coaching program, and then our business, literally 5x'd within 3 months. And it can be a lonely business, And just being around other people who are doing it. Like, thankfully, me and Josh are partners in this, right? So, and we say this all the time. Like, if either of us were doing it by ourselves, 0% chance we'd still be doing this. Like, literally zero. So, and now being involved in the community, having that support, not just the wholesale network, but like the broader Amazon community, and being able to meet people, like we connected on Twitter, connected with Corey on Twitter, Miles, Warner, all those guys. It's like just having that community and people you can bounce ideas off of is so valuable.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. We talk about it all the time. But even if you're not in our community, being in the Amazon community in general, you 100% need to be if you're a seller. So create a profile. You don't even have to post that much. Just like having a profile and putting a little bit out there, you'll find people you can connect with for free that do the same thing as you.
Yep, 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very excited to, see where the wholesale network goes and what kind of people that you guys bring in over the next year. Jonah, where can people go find you on the internet?
You can find me at Jonah Hodges _ nice and easy. All socials.
Is that all socials?
All socials, I hope.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Guys, the links will be in the description. Make sure to leave a comment if you have any topics you want us to discuss in the future. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. And if you're on Spotify, follow the podcast so you can stay updated on all of our new content. And we will see you on the next one.